picture of a camera with like a wheel on it.
Maybe. I don't know. So, the last few times we've done this, the app has actually crashed on us.
Oh no.
Yeah, it happened last week, and it happened with Dave and I with Samson the other day. So I'm hoping that maybe the app just needed updated. So I updated it earlier today, which took us a second to set this back up because there's a few differences on there. One of them being I couldn't find the retake option again for the thumbnail. So when I was setting up the camera, it's like, oh, I'll just retake it. Oh, well, apparently that was taken away. Maybe too many people were using it. Or it'd be hilarious if we got rid of that. Anyway, just to promote a thing real quick, I'm gonna be in Cleveland next weekend for Wizard World Cleveland, March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So if you're gonna be around the area, come see us and get some DVDs. So I never fucking heard of this movie before in my life until 5 minutes before I sent you a text about it.
Yeah, so we saw it every day, and I swear up and down that we got a preview for this at one point. But, these young adult movies all tend to blend together, even when they're as fucking strange as this one, so it could very well be I'm remembering, like, everything, or
I know, right? Yeah, everything, or was that Bella Thorne one where she's allergic to the sun? That one that I saw last year and told you about in the review where it was like Groundhog Day.
Oh, right.
So when I was looking to see what was coming out this weekend, this was listed on there, and at first with the poster and the title I thought, oh, it's going to be another religious movie for me and Dave to see.
It did have religious undertones.
A little, yeah. Then when reading the description, I'm like, oh, this is a me and Sarah movie. So I was like, I can't explain the plot of this in text. So I just
sent me a screenshot of the description on what was it, IMDb?
No, it was on the Fandango page. Oh. I just took a picture of the fucking like synopsis, like, hey, are you in? I don't know what this is.
Yeah, I literally told Dave I got a movie tonight, and he's like, oh yeah, what's it about? And I just forwarded him the screenshot, because it's like, that's as good a description as any.
That's what I did to Laura, too. I was like, maybe you can make sense of this. I have no idea. If we got the trailer for this, I don't fucking remember. Someone in the comments will have to remind me if in like a previous video when you and I are talking about trailers if we got this, but I don't think so. And having seen the movie, I can kind of see why this shit wasn't advertised very much. So
tell me what you thought of it first, because I didn't think it was too terrible.
I thought it was bad, but I was never mad at it.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that in a second, but like,
so it's basically the premise is like there's this little girl whose boyfriend is suddenly not a jerk for a day, and it turns out it's because he's been inhabited by like a magical space baby who zaps from body to body every day, and the magical space baby falls in love with her immediately, Bella and Edward style, and so like stalks her in different bodies for a couple days, and then explains the premise to her, and she's like, okay, I'm aboard. So they have kind of like a whirlwind romance in which the space baby's in a different body every day.
Mm-hmm. Here's what you need to know about this movie. It's Quantum Leap.
Yeah! If he was like only leaping throughout the suburbs of Massachusetts.
Throughout just a really like kind of like small area, like a regional area, and was always the same age. Like he's aging along. He's kind of born into this, and so he's kind of aging along with the person whose body inhabits.
It's fucking terrifying.
It's like Quantum Leap if Sam didn't have to do jack shit and he would still leap at the end of the day.
But there was no L.
And there's no L, and Sam just made these people's lives so much worse.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of funny in a way.
A contagious fugue state.
Holy shit. Yeah, it's like Get Out if there was no sunken place, and that person just has no memory of this event of being taken over by a different person, because it's not... If you read the synopsis, you might get the idea of like, okay, maybe the person just looks different every day or something like that. But no, it is
like the symbiotic race in the Star Treks, where it's like your personality is just gone, and it's the personality of the space baby, and it can like access your memories. But they decide whether you get to remember any of it the next day, and they can just decide to keep your body for a couple days, which happens to Alexander, which is when I realized this was actually a horror movie.
Oh, it took you that long? This movie.
Well, at first it was cute because all like Instagrammable and going on dates with like sparklers and balloons and aquariums. And then it's like, what if I just stayed in this person's body? It's
Yeah, again,
like,
it's
oh no.
it's Get Out if we're rooting for Bradley Whitford and his family. Like,
I'm always rooting for Bradley Whitford.
this is very true.
Granted, I haven't seen Get Out.
It'd be hilarious if you're still like, you know what, I am on his side.
I can't help it. He's so charming.
A few minor tweaks, and this movie is one of those movies from the 80s that didn't age very well. Like, part of me found it fascinating about this, like that, and this also kind of feels like if Shyamalan didn't do The Visit or Split and just continued making shitty movies, he might make a movie like this. Like, this movie is weird. It's captivatingly weird.
Yeah, which is why I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah.
And like there was some pretty bad acting, and like
There was.
the implications are horrifying, but it was at least interesting. And like
It's
sort of, I like that it ended in a way that made sense rather than like, because I was expecting it to go the host on us, where like the space baby found like someone whose personality was gone and just took their body, and they lived happily ever after.
It did. The movie did do some things right, and one of them is that the last act kind of does address the horrifying implications of this relationship. It actually did do that.
A is the name of the space baby.
Yeah.
Realize like, oh no, I can't just keep staying in this dude. He's got like stuff to do.
Yeah. It'd be like if anyone in 50 First Dates had a brain in their fucking head. Like, and I was thinking about that movie too, because like 50 First Dates has that conclusion where it's like there's 9 months it's a fucking horror film.
Yeah.
This movie, depending on who you're following, it could turn into a horror film, because every time he leaps into another body, there's this person who has 24 hours of their day missing, and who he's just fucked them up completely.
Yeah, Nathan is just screwed.
Which one was he?
He was the Jesus-y one.
This kid thinks he was possessed by the devil and is like traumatized.
Not to
because
mention
of
that
it.
homeschool boy.
Oh, that kid's getting beaten by his mom the
I'm
next
sorry.
day.
He's like, he lives in the basement now.
Yeah, meanwhile, like, alien version of that guy, and the main girl, like,
How whimsical.
it's like that montage in Little Monsters where they're breaking into kids' houses and, like, putting piss in the apple juice and the kids get blamed for it. But at least in Little Monsters, they knew they were being dicks.
Yeah, David tried making me watch that movie. And I had never seen it before. I'm like, what are they doing? This is horrible.
Right, but you know what I mean? Like, at least they knew they were being dickheads in that. Like
I don't think they knew the extent to which they were being dickheads.
to where the kids are getting beaten.
Yeah.
Well, that's a given. It's like 1990.
Anyway, I didn't make it all the way through that movie, so maybe there's like, maybe they get their fucking comeuppance at the end. I don't know.
Not really. I mean, not really. I think Maurice loses one of his horns. Like, sure.
That'll
He
teach him.
didn't even have those when the movie started. What's that fucking matter? Then they replaced one of the kids' sandwich with cat food at one point. Like, they glued the kid's dad's ear to the phone.
Yeah, it wasn't like cute whimsical shit. It was like mean-spirited evil shit.
Having seen that movie when it first came out, for a 9-year-old boy, it was cute whimsical shit. I'm sure it ages fine.
Oh yeah, totally.
But like in this, like they're like,
And
like
she just
that
like
kid's
drives
dead.
off. The mom's like, "What kind of whore?"
Yeah, she calls her a whore and
Yeah.
shit. Like,
in the library, and they'd been getting shushed that entire conversation. That mom did not get shushed once for her horse speech.
yeah, yeah, right. Well, no one's gonna.
That's where this movie.
No one's gonna
lost me.
fuck with that lady. And the one guy who misses his trip to like Honolulu.
Yeah, because he just fucking climbs out of his window and bolts across the parking lot before getting to his mom's point of view, kidnapped.
These kids are dead. Like every single one of them. Like they're fucking dead.
But
It's crazy.
It never actually shows the sex, but there's sex happening. And like after she goes in that huge diatribe of him basically like tricking her into kissing him when the space baby was in her boyfriend, then she has sex with like a bunch of random people without those people's consent to have sex with their bodies. And I feel like that could have been addressed more in the film.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I was thinking, like, I can see why they didn't advertise this movie. Like, a few minor tweaks. This is one of those movies that, like, was made in the 80s and seemed fine. But now it's like, I don't know about some parts of that. Like, and then, yeah, they're just casually talking about, like, we're just going to keep possessing this guy, like, day after day after day. And there is random shit in this movie. So when they're talking about possessing this guy, just probably for eternity, for all this girl wants. So, like, well, okay, so
this was like a friend of hers from school.
Yeah.
Because the space baby jumps into her friend Alexander, and she's like, "You're sexy now. Just go ahead and stay, Alexander." This is after the space baby had told her, like, "Oh yeah, Alexander's really interesting and smart and funny, and like he's got places he's going, and he's not built for high school. He's built for what's after high school." And she's like, "Whatever.
But he's dead now.
Leave his brain, take his body."
Yeah, just take his
I'm gonna
body.
have sex with it so many times.
While he's in the sunken place. This is weird. This is such a fascinatingly weird movie. That's what I mean. Like, if Shyamalan continued making shitty movies and made this, because even Shyamalan's bad movies are fascinating, and so is this fucking movie, because it's so random. Because in that scene, this is one of my favorite scenes, that scene where the final guy, the Alexander guy's like, "Oh, he's so good, he's so great, he's handsome, he's such a nice guy, I think you would really like him," and then random gay guy sitting next to him.
It's like,
just,
I'll have what she's at.
What? Like, I was in the theater. I literally just went like, Like, save some for me.
All fucking over the map. Because it was like and advertised so as being like very progressive with like the sexual identity and like the gender politics.
Sure.
And like, identifying correctly, even especially when the space baby jumped into that young trans man. But then on the flip side, there's ostentatiously gay men and having sex with people's bodies without their consent. It's like, I'm doing my best.
I know. It reminded me of, like, when you're watching a movie in like the past, and it's like progressive for the time, but there's things about it where
you
it's
can tell they're trying, but bless them, they're not doing a very good job.
This movie's fucking hilarious, man. Like, 'cause this alien just fucks these people up so goddamn much. The goddamn boyfriend, who was probably my favorite character in this.
He was probably one of the best actors in this.
He was.
And like, when at the very beginning, when the space baby was in his body and they had that really sweet sort of date, it's like they had really good chemistry. And so I kind of felt like I wish the space baby would like decide to stay in his body, because that guy's no big loss.
Yeah, like that guy. It's her boyfriend in it, who they're. The alien's trying to get her to break up with this guy because he's like a total fucking douche. He is a cartoonish douchebag in this movie.
He works at Target, and he smokes cigarettes, and he's like, duh.
Yeah,
like,
this guy.
Literally, duh.
This guy's great. He's my favorite part of this fucking movie. Like, because she says to him, like, do we have any kind of connection?
What's your favorite thing about us?
I really liked it when you stopped me from drunk driving the other day.
And then, like, when I got hit on you, I realized that I would beat him up for you.
I realized that no one else can have you. And, like, fucking later on, when she says, like, she goes, "I want you to give me a romantic day. It's not romantic."
That was when the space baby was in her body.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She says, when the space baby's in her body, and she says to him, "I want you to give me a romantic day. I don't want, it's not romantic if we just bum off to your place.
Fool around, I watch you play video games, we eat McDonald's."
And he goes, "Yeah, but that day sounds awesome." And then she's like, "Whatever," and leaves. And he goes, "Are you still on your period?"
Your period again? It's been like a week and a half.
It's been a week and a half. Are you perioding again? And, like,
again, why would he be tracking that?
Even the background characters are odd in this, because this is like such a stereotypical high school.
Yeah,
like
she's got like the stereotypical high school friend
Yeah.
who's just there to be mad at her for not confiding in her, and then be happy for her when she's in a relationship with Alexander's body.
And do you remember the part in the gym where the main girl is walking through and the one guy who I don't remember ever seeing before,
Oh,
like
friend of Broy ex-boyfriend.
yeah, friend of Broy ex-boyfriend just goes, "Hey slut, I'm talking to you, slut."
And the other guy's like, "Hey, don't slut shame her. You do you, slut. Keep slutting it up."
And then that guy, the friend's just like, and just puts his arm around a random girl who was standing right there in gym class.
She's helping.
There were things. Here's what kept me from hating this. One, it is fascinatingly bad, so I couldn't get mad at it because I'm like, okay, I'm glad I'm here. Also, I mean, it says a lot for the main actress in this movie that she has to have chemistry with like 20 different people in this. Like, so I mean that this role it's not an easy role to play.
No, she did it. She pulled it off. All right,
Yeah,
I
she
think.
was fine. Like
She was cute, you know, and
she was serviceable, you know.
Yeah.
She was fine for this kind of
serviceable.
movie.
That's a good word.
Yeah, like whoever was playing the alien, sometimes they were fine, sometimes they weren't, but they give the alien like a personality that's not that hard to play. Just kind of like romantic lead who maybe says something funny.
He
every
laughs a
now and then.
lot and
Yeah.
knows the words to the song from the Empire Records soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, right. And also, I was thinking in my head a lot in this movie, like, I'm not mad at this because, okay, this movie's bad, but it's not as bad as The Host.
Yeah, it is definitely not as bad as the host.
Yeah, that was coming into my head a lot during
And
this
like
movie.
like the space baby, bless their heart, did realize, oh wait, this isn't gonna work out because like what happens when we're adults, and like I'm jumping into like married people, running away from my married life to go have sex with you for a day with
Yeah.
their bodies, like without their consent. And what if you want to have a baby, you know, either you raise it by yourself if it's your baby, or if it's my baby, it just jumps off to bumblefuck the first day and you never see it again. Which would leave what, like a baby husk behind? I don't really understand the mechanics of that.
Yeah.
But so like the space baby eventually decides to go off to New York, which I didn't really understand because I feel like we had determined that they knew they had originated from Phoenix. So what I would have thought, especially after having that conversation about how if you had the baby that took after you, it would jump off and you'd never see it again. Wouldn't you go back to where you know you were born and see if you could find your parents? Right?
I would think so. But I mean, I things like that and like the ending, I kind of chalked up to it's probably explained in the book.
Yeah, like someone left a message on my Twitter that apparently the book is from Space Baby's point of view,
Oh, okay.
and I feel like that would make more sense. Like I'd be interested in reading it.
I don't know if it's I haven't heard of this until like 2 days ago. So
let's like read like the last 10 pages to see
I-
if A goes back to Phoenix.
oh sure, but like I don't know if this I just heard of this a couple of days ago, so I don't even know if the book is supposed to be any good or not.
The Twitter person seemed to think that it was.
Oh, okay, right. And I've seen that if the book is like good, like it wouldn't surprise me because I've seen that happen before where we go see one of these movies and it's dog shit, but like the book is good. Like the book the Snowman's supposed to be great.
Yeah, well, my mom read all the. It's like a whole series, a Harry Howler series.
Yeah.
Because his name is pronounced Harry Hole in the movie, and apparently that's wrong.
Because of course it is.
And apparently the Snowman is like one of the worst of the series, and it's like it's one of those things where it's just like the horrible misadventures of this guy who everything goes wrong for. So I have no intention of reading those books, but yeah, apparently the Snowman is not the best.
That's funny.
But yeah, I remembered in the car ride over here that I've had freaking 50 Shades Freed from the library. So now it's
Oh, no.
overdue. So when I bring that back, maybe I'll check this book out.
Check this one out.
After I
Yeah.
pay my fucking fees.
As far as recommending this,
I think that if it's on streaming, it would be worth watching on streaming.
it would be worth watching on streaming if you're with a group of friends. You could probably have a laugh at this movie because it's not good.
It's mesmerizing.
It's not good, but it's never boring because you don't know how much more horrifying this movie's gonna get every minute that goes by. We were almost the only ones in there.
Yeah, I was so mad when those people came in. I was like,
hate-
man, I wanted to talk loudly about it while stuff is happening.
God, I hated. Duh. And it would be, it'd be one thing if like they kind of arrived when we did, but it's one of those like this annoys me so much where you think you're alone in a movie, but then two people walk in during the previews. Like, fuck! That happened to me in Irving, and that just getting started, whatever the fuck that was. But that's okay because the fire alarm went off, so we only saw half the movie. Yeah, that's how I chalk this movie up. Like, don't go see this in theaters.
Yeah, no. Don't pay money to see this. But if it's on streaming, maybe like, and you're at a party. I don't know, man. I don't know that I'd even recommend it for that because like,
oh, I would.
We had to watch it.
We did, but we also like we're using words like fascinating and stuff like that to describe it, and just laughing at really insane shit in this movie. Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't.
I feel like our description of it is probably vastly more entertaining than the movie itself was, though.
But I was never bored in it. Like, I was sitting there horrified by so much shit that was happening.
If I had watched this on my own Steam, I feel like I would have considered it time wasted.
If I was watching this movie by myself, I would, yeah. But if like, I don't recommend watching this movie alone. It's way too scary.
What if I wake up and I'm not myself and some random teenage girl has sex with my body? I read an article that was talking about 50 Shades Freed and how like more so than the porny aspects of that movie, the real sort of voyeuristic appeal of that movie is like just watching these like young pretty people bask in sort of like rich people, what's the word I'm looking, not obsolescence but opulence. And so it's just like these sort of like lingering shots of them like going on a helicopter date or like walking through the Louvre or like laying on their bed on the beach in France.
I've seen movies like that. Like that was what was basically used to describe like the Sex and the City 2, where it was like wealth porn.
Yeah, wealth porn. And so I feel like this movie had a sort of Instagram porn feel to it, because it had like these teenagers apparently never have to go to school. They can just like run off and have like $100,000 dates, Ferris Bueller style. So like they go on a date and they go to the beach and they make her into a mermaid with the sand, and then they go to the aquarium and they're like making faces at each other through the water, and it's all like shit that I never did as a teenager. We hung up by the railroad track and through rocks and stuff, you know? So it's just like that, I think, was the most unrealistic aspect of this movie upon reflection than like the whole space baby jumping from body to body.
They try explaining that with the teacher's like, I'm really disappointed in you for missing school yesterday. Don't let it happen again.
Then she never goes back to school again. Yeah. She drives out to a cabin that's owned by someone and she just has access to, and then they go for a paddle boat date.
This movie sucks,
and then they go on a Bubbles date, and then they go on a Sparklers date.
Yeah.
Just walk to the middle of the football field. You weren't allowed to walk to the middle of the football field. The groundskeeper would get mad at you.
On me and Laura's next anniversary, I'm just going to take you to the field and be like, here's some sparklers.
Here's some sparklers, here's a kite, here's some bubbles. Here's a see-through shirt and a bra. And shorts that are like straight up your butt, but then the waistband is about here.
By the way, I might be a different person tomorrow.
I'll take her on a date and just make a bunch of brand faces.
Should we do trailers? I got another movie in a little bit. Oh no!
I didn't have my pen, so I had to write them on my phone. Spooky. I Feel Pretty, which is that
Oh, yeah, that's the Amy Schumer one. I went out to the bathroom during that. I didn't need to see that trailer again.
I don't care about that movie.
And someone told me that it was reminiscent of a sketch on, I don't know if it was 30 Rock or something, where it was like overconfident sexual something. I can't remember.
I don't remember that from 30 Rock.
Yeah, I watched 30 Rock, but I can't remember that either, unless I'm getting the show wrong.
Like, I've seen a couple people get mad about it, because they're like, oh yeah, she feels classically pretty, you know, blonde, white, skinny broad.
Okay.
It's like, I don't really see that aspect of it. I feel like it's more trying to imply that the brain damage has given her the confidence to get the sort of thing that she thinks that pretty people get. I think it's more about her own perception of herself than about society's view of attractiveness. But it's not something that I care enough about because I'll watch this movie if you take me to it, but past that I really have no interest.
We were at Trainwreck and Snatch, so we probably will be at this movie.
Okay, so apparently I have to care. I'll care later.
The trilogy is complete.
So have you seen the preview yet for A Quiet Place?
Quite a few times. That movie looks good.
That looks fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
So I saw an interview with John Krasinski where it's like, oh yeah, he's in a movie called The Quiet Place, and I thought I was thinking like fucking August Osage County or whatever.
Yeah.
For the title. No, it is not that.
He's also the director of it, and he co-wrote it as well. This is really his baby, and I've gotten the trailer quite a few times, and I'm really looking forward to that. That looks like genuinely really terrifying.
Yeah, well, it's like they're like, yeah, no.
They can't make a noise, or the
I was having an anxiety attack
them.
just watching. They were having to lay out sand and walk barefoot across it. But I feel like that would make a crunch noise. But what do I know about sand and barefoot on hardwood floors?
I had a feeling because I walked back into the theater while that trailer was playing, so I had a feeling you hadn't seen that trailer yet because the look on your face was like you watched The Ring tape 7 days ago.
Yeah, that looks scary, but maybe I won't be at that one. Mamma Mia 2, Here I Go Again.
I used to think that movie looked bad, and then today I watched Marcy X. Mamma Mia 2 might not be that bad.
I mean, it certainly doesn't sound as racist as the Marcy X you're talking about.
Yeah, maybe there's no character in it named Dr. Snatchcatcher.
Maybe that's what Cher's name is. Grandma Snatchcatcher.
If that's the case, I'm like, whoa, bravo on the Marcy X reference movie. That's random.
I see people making Jim Halpert jokes, and I feel like I should mention it's John Krasinski with his beard, the beardy beard John Krasinski.
It's bearded Krasinski, so it's serious Krasinski.
Yeah. And I had the thought when I was watching this movie, do you remember, what was that movie he was in with Emma Stone?
Oh, no.
And Bradley Cooper.
Oh, Aloha.
Yeah, Aloha, where he played a character that didn't talk, and so he was just signing. Maybe this is that character, except after the apocalypse.
He can adapt really well to this situation. He already doesn't say very much.
Yeah. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, well, I think it's Miles Morales Spider-Man,
I think so.
right? So,
I think so, yeah.
And also Peter Parker Spider-Man, because it seemed like they were having a conversation, but it's computer animated, and it seems like the sort of thing that David will like.
It looks really pretty. The music is really cool in the trailer too. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm glad that's getting a theatrical release.
I don't know enough of Spider-Man to have hard opinions on stuff, but
Same.
I will say that I like when he's swinging from place to place and they animate him in such a way that he looks like he has barely any control of where his limbs are going.
Oh,
and they've done a really good job of that. He's basically just flinging himself from building to building. Love, Simon, which we're seeing next week, right?
Yeah, we got an advanced screening of that.
Because we're so fancy.
Yes, we're doing an advanced screening on that on Tuesday night, which is good because I'll be at it. I won't be able to see the movies on Thursday.
He'll be in Columbus. Come buy a DVD.
No. Where am I? Cleveland.
He'll be in Don't go to Columbus.
Columbus is later in the year.
Just go to Ohio and start doing laps.
You'll find me. I'm somewhere in Ohio.
But yeah, Love, Simon looks cute.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that looks funny.
This preview gave it a little more. 9/27, sorry. Life of the Party, which is the one with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, the back to school type movie.
Yeah, whatever.
It looked like something that like a lot of comedy trailers where it's
that made me laugh. There was another point where she'd get blown backwards and she'd flail because it's funny when a fat person falls over, and I don't like shit like that. Like
a lot of comedies now, I mean, it looks like. Sure, there's plenty of comedies where media okay, that's a piece of shit. But there's ones where it's it could go either way. It could be fine or it could be bad. Dumb. Yeah. Because
the Spy preview looked pretty terrible. We enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I liked Spy.
And then Overboard. Which
I'm so excited.
Well, first of all, we're going to have to watch original Overboard.
Uh-huh.
And we'll have to do it as a double feature with Encino Man, because we're watching that movie this year.
Yes.
From start to finish. I'm doing it.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of
I
which,
will always watch Encino Man.
we said we mentioned that article, but you haven't
Oh
read
yeah.
it yet. So
No, I've only skimmed it, but there's a great article on Brendan Fraser.
tell us about where he's been. Apparently, he bought a horse. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and he's in the Getty show that's coming out. Yeah, that was trending all over Twitter earlier. I'm like, well, Sarah and I bring up Brendan Fraser a lot. We're definitely going to talk about.
It's like one of our running jokes.
Yeah.
Where the hell did Brendan Fraser go? Turns out he bought a horse.
We will definitely do a midnight screenings on Encino Man.
Yes.
That is still a classic.
I'll just use my thumb to cover up the part where his hair's at.
that's a lot of hair in that movie. All right, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.